Hello peoples, it is I, PotatoPikachu, and today we're going to talk about case investing. Now, cases are very important to CSGO's economy as they are the way to obtain the cool skins and knives that we all know and love. Cases can be obtained through the Steam market, or you can get them as a drop as you play the game. And keep in mind that as more and more cases are released, the older cases that were previously being dropped in-game will slowly start to be removed from the drop pool. This means that the older cases will be rare drops and will drop less frequently than newer cases, so make sure that if you ever want to invest in cases, never go for the newer cases as those will continuously drop and eventually reach the lowest point it can possibly be on the Steam market. So go for the cases that are in the rare drop pool because they won't drop as much, and as the stock goes down, so will the price go up. And don't go for the cases that are in the active drop pool because what I said before will apply for that situation, and that case will be a very cheap case. So enough about that, and let's get right into case investing. So the first case I want to talk about is the Operation Breakout case. It's currently going for around 75 cents a case, which is pretty expensive for a case, and it will only continue to rise. This case only gives you the butterfly knife in the old patterns if you were to unbox one. And the butterfly knife has seen a huge price increase over the course of a couple years, so it's a no-brainer to automatically look at this case at an investing standpoint. There are still sought-after patterns in this case like the Fade, Crimson Web, and Case Hardened, and since this case only has butterfly knives, you won't get any other garbage knife. So if you can afford to spend some money on a case, then I suggest you go for this case as it's very old and has the popular butterfly knife. But keep in mind that if you want to see big margins in profit, then you will have to invest in a large amount. There is a reason as to why people have a lot of cases when they invest, because you will make a higher return. And generally, cases are a pretty safe investment because they are very stable, and as they go into the rare drop pool, the quantity will just keep on decreasing, and since they're so stable, they'll just go slowly and slowly up in price as time goes on. So the next case I'll talk about is the Spectrum case, which is currently going for around 20 cents on the market. And what this case has going for it is that it has two good looking covert skins as well as a variety of knives. However, the only knife that people are looking towards in this case is the butterfly knife, since it includes the chroma finishes, making the case more sought after in hopes of getting a butterfly sapphire, ruby, or marble fade. But this case does also have a bunch of ugly knives as well, but I think the butterfly knife in the chroma finishes does supersede the ugly knives present in my opinion. Moving on, we have the glove case. It is currently going for around 46 cents on the Steam market, and it has a bunch of cool looking gloves. And gloves were a surprise back in the day when they were released, but people have warmed up to them. It's been a staple to the game. The Operation Hydra case does also have the same gloves as this case, but is extremely expensive and is not worth opening. There are a bunch of cool patterns like the Pandora boxes, the Crimson Kimono, the Emerald Web, and a lot of more amazing gloves in this case. So people will want to open them to pair together with their knives and gun skins, so it will be a popular case. And Valve hasn't released too many glove cases, as the only ones I believe that have gloves is the Operation Hydra, the glove case, and the clutch case. That's only 3, that's not too many. But who knows, maybe in the future Valve will decide to release more, but right now we only have a few amount of cases with gloves, so keep that in mind as well if you want to invest in them now, as more and more of them are opened, so the supply will be less and less as well. Now, all the cases I just talked about are pretty expensive if you want to invest in a lot of them. So some cheaper cases that I'll talk about is the Gamma case and the Gamma 2 case, as they both seem to be a pretty decent option. The Gamma case is going for around 9 cents and the Gamma 2 case is going for around 10 cents on the Steam market. And these two cases have the lore knives, the emerald, the black laminate, etc. And although the covert skins in both cases aren't great looking, the knives are still sought after. And I'm sure that there are plenty of other cheaper cases that you guys can invest in that are pretty good investments, but that's for you guys to research, and you guys can look into it, as it's pretty fun to see which kind of cases there are, see if there are any good covert skins and good knives, so keep that in mind when you want to invest in a case. There is also the Operation Phoenix case that does have the Op Asimov and AK-47 Redline. It is currently going for around 47 cents on the Steam market, but I think that this case isn't the best compared to the others and will probably be a stable case, as is the two weapons mentioned. It is probably still a good investment, but in my opinion, I would rather go for some of the other cases I mentioned. Now, the last case I'll talk about today is the Operation Shattered Web case. Now, this case was only obtainable if you bought the pass itself during the operation, and you completed the missions to obtain around 9 of them, I believe, and as most of you know, the case has been discontinued and will continue to rise in price as more and more of them are opened. This case is probably a good investment if the knives in the case aren't released in any future cases. If Valve does decide to release the same knives with the same finishes, then there won't be any point in investing in this case. However, if Valve does decide to release the same knives but with different finishes, then this case will still be a good investment. And if the knives won't be re-released in any new case, then expect the price to continuously rise since people love the skeleton knife. And if you have big money, and I mean big money, then invest in the Bravo case. Like, that case has already reached $30 point on the Steam market, and it's just gonna keep on rising with people wanting to unbox the AK Fire Serpent, which is highly unlikely, but people just want to spend their money on a ridiculous case. So if you have big money, just spend it on that. And these are all the cases I'll talk about today. Most of these cases, if not all of them, are currently on the popular part of the Steam market, meaning that they are continuously being bought and sold by people and are on the radar of many. This is a good sign, as this means that the cases can be sold off at a pretty fast rate if you ever decide to sell the ones you have. And I believe that all the cases I mentioned are going to be long-term investments for you guys to hold. I'm not too sure if there are any cases that can give you a profit short term, as cases are usually meant to be held for longer periods of time compared to other items in CSGO. But if you do know some short term profit cases, leave it in the comments below. But that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and also know that there are still plenty of other cases that you can invest in. I'm just giving you guys some few examples of what to invest in, so do your own research and learn as well. So leave a like, comment your ideas for me to read, and subscribe. I'm a Potato and a Pikachu, Potato Pikachu, signing out. Peace.